I've been on a rampage against the gophers. I lost my gopher trapper. This is my wall of jasmine. Ugh, I wish it bloomed all year long. I want to talk about happiness. And there's so much science and information about it. And I love science. I love intuition. But what I love most of all is doing it. Because putting things into practice is so damn hard. My sign, cleverly disguised as an American flag, so I don't get slaughtered here in my neighborhood, which is very conservative. Yes, my address is already all over the internet because I have a home-based business, so no point in hiding it here. There was a podcast about a woman who I believe was from a middle-class family. She was white. She was kidnapped. She was trafficked. She was rescued. And she went into a lot of rehab and therapy, etc. And she talked about her addiction. She had gotten addicted to the adrenaline rush, the fear, the anxiety of going out, meeting a man under dangerous conditions, and having sex under dangerous conditions, and making money. And so we're talking, by the time she was rescued and this era that I'm talking about now, she was, I believe, in her 20s. I don't think she was older than that, mid-20s at the most. Come on, puppies. And this is wood I have to chop up. And I think, if I remember correctly, her parents finally kicked her out. They just couldn't handle it. And she herself, the podcast was about, she could not stop the trafficking behavior. She knew it was wrong. She knew it was bad. Nobody was pimping her. She had tried to get jobs. She'd quit her job. And she realized that she went back to the trafficking scenario. Pia! Because, don't mind my bird cages here. Because of the adrenaline rush. Because her body craved this kind of activity. Okay, come here. And it took her about 2 years, maybe 3, to be able to stop trafficking herself. She didn't have a pimp or anything like that. And it was a raw podcast. I mean, wow, the absolute incredibleness of what she admitted to and what she talked about. And it's so de-romanticized recovery work. It's like, holy crap. And I never forgot that podcast. I don't even know where I heard it. I wish I could. I had written it down. It's like, I think in the beginning when I was first starting to listen to podcasts. Okay. Come on, babies. Yeah. All your fly gear on. Yeah. So I've seen this in myself, as well as with other people, that I don't care how much science you know, how much practice you do, your nervous system has to get re-regulated to happiness, safety, security, acceptance, love, serenity, choices, healthy choices. And it takes a damn time. And it's just so depressing, that reality. And this is with a body of knowledge, like this young woman had a body of knowledge. And some of the people I've worked with the desperate phone calls I get. I've worked with them on and off for years. Sometimes people don't contact me for a year. Sometimes they work with me monthly, etc. I'm not talking about every single week like traditional therapy. And they're calling up with these stories and anxiety and fear because everything is working out, and it is terrifying. And not only does someone not know how to feel, but they don't know how to react, and they don't know what self-care looks like now. Like, say you get successful at work or somewhere, anywhere else, university. Now you face competition, and people are jealous of you, or people are afraid of you, or people think that you think you're so special, and on it goes. So what do I do, and what's happening, and why are people reacting to me this way? I've heard this described when people lose weight, that the new reactions to them. I met this woman at a big art opening in Sedona, and she was gorgeous. And I walked up to her. She had a tight dress on, and just turned out. And I said, don't take this in any wrong way, but you are hot. You are so beautiful. And she got tears in her eyes, and she said, oh, God, thank you. She said, women don't normally say that to other women, maybe if they're gay. And I said, well, I'm not. And so you can add this to your list of wonderful experiences. And then she told me a story that she had been a microbiologist. She used to be like 60 pounds heavier. She wore a white lab coat. She was ugly as shit, she thought, and everybody else seemed to think so. And she had this horrible life. And then I can't remember if she got hurt or sick, but she quit the lab kind of late in life, like 35, 40, and started sculpting in bronzes, big ass sculptures in bronzes, and started making a living at it, and got really successful and dropped all this weight. And because she had been such a dreary lab rat for so long, she went out dressed like Marilyn Monroe. Not inappropriately, just like, look at me. And the reactions to that, instead of like, look at you, was mostly like, who the hell do you think you are? You think you're so hot, you think you're this, you think you're that. The competition in the art world, we talked about it. And it was one of the greatest talks. This is back in 1990. Because here was somebody talking about the angst of completely reinventing her life on every level, from career down to physicality. It was just stunning. Oh my God. I was so impressed, and I never forgot it. So it's not just about happiness. One of the hardest group of people for me to work with are people who know a lot, because they've learned a lot, but they're not doing it. They know neurobiology, they understand psychology, they do New Age stuff. But if I look at their actual practice, not a whole lot is going on there. And it's not meant as a criticism. I'm just saying, I don't think you can get there without doing it. You have to do what you read, what you learn about. And just like mothers I've met have all told me the same thing with their first child. It didn't matter how prepared I was. The shock of now being a mother, like 1 second you're not a mother and 1 second you are a mother, was unbelievable. Like, nothing can prepare you for that first change in your life. Why am I talking about this? Because for those of you who are out there listening to podcasts, and people do their introductory session with me, and I will give them some tools and resources and books to read, and books have PDFs with them. You can do the exercises, etc. You can only go so far with that, as far as I'm concerned. The PDFs are still book learning, and they're great. But at some point, you've got to show up in a group, because you meet people in real life, so you've got to show up and be able to function in this world with other humans. At some point, you've got to have those hard conversations with people. At some point, you have got to feel uncomfortable practicing your new skills in public, and you can't do that by yourself in a book, etc. It's also one of the reasons why I constantly refer people to 12-step programs as another alternative, because it's a practice ground. End of story. Go there and practice. People will go and play pickleball with strangers before they go to a 12-step meeting. I don't understand that. Because part of what we have to practice is feeling uncomfortable, because every time you're learning, I guarantee it, you are going to be uncomfortable. There's no way around it. You just get used to being uncomfortable. That's it. That's a skill too. I feel uncomfortable. I feel threatened. I feel like a doofus. I don't have skills yet. I don't want to self-criticize myself, but I can't compliment myself because I'm not good yet at what I'm doing. I'm terrible at it. Why? Because I'm just learning it. I have no skill set. Just being able to do that is an acquired skill. So I do talk about this quite a bit. And also, the response you'll get a lot of times from people is, well, how can you be upset? You just got married, or you just got the promotion, or you just lost 40 pounds, or you have a new child. You know, it was years before postpartum depression was recognized. A terrible thing to have as like a diagnosis. You have a child and now you're massively depressed. But you have a child and you're in a state of physiological change and neurological change, and oh my goodness. So if we could not define it as pathology, and a lot of people say, I sabotage myself. You did not sabotage yourself. You had a change so dramatic, your nervous system is not up to par yet. That is not self-sabotage. Self-sabotage to me is like, I'm going to make terrible choices to screw myself up and blow up my current wonderful situation. No. Oh my goodness. That is so mean. And there's so many things in mainstream psychology that drive me crazy, because the way they frame things, it makes the person bad and wrong, just like with New Age stuff. So exercise those happy nerve endings. Put yourself in situations that require scary learning of new skills, including happiness, but also just including learning how to learn new stuff and be around people while you do it and handle the scary stuff about it. And if you talk to me and you feel better for a while, I'm really happy, but at some point you might want to think about working with someone or going to a group so that you are practicing like you would for pickleball or rollerblading or any of the other stuff that you love to do. Well, now I gotta go trim horse feet, so I'm signing off.